So recently, I have noticed a thing that is happening at a very large scale, and that is this whole problem of job के लिए experience चाहिए और experience के लिए job चाहिए. So a thing that I've noticed is that a lot of fresher students who have either passed out of their college or are probably in their second, third or fourth year of their college are being scammed by a lot of agencies, a lot of companies, and it is being done in such a way that the students don't even realize until the entire thing is done on them. So to start this thing, I would like to narrate a small incident that happened with one of my friends. So he had applied for an internship in a local company, and so what happened was that it was a kind of like, it was not an official internship, but it was just that the company announced that, hey, you know what, we want people to work towards XYZ project, and if you can, then please apply, and if we take you on board, then like you will get a chance to work with us. So this guy goes there and he applies and he gets selected, and the company, and he has a verbal conversation that, okay, you do so and so work and we would pay you by hour, like, you know, we would pay you X number of rupees for every single hour that you put into working towards us. And this guy is very readily agreeing to that, because he is like, okay, as a college student, this would add up to my resume, and you know what, I'll get some amount of work experience to show in my profile. So he's more than happy, the company is more than happy, and they both mutually agree. Now to put some numbers to it, the per hour wage was like very less. So if I can give you an approximation, it was somewhere around 40 to 50 rupees every single hour, which is very less if you compare to a normal job. Like, even if you pick up any base level job in today's date, a call center or something like that, that would pay you more than that. So that in that context, the per hour wage was very less. But because this guy was in a frenzy that, okay, I'm getting a chance to work with this company, he's like, okay, chal, let's not talk about money, let's just talk that, okay, I'm getting a chance to work, and that is more than enough. So he starts working, and he's working almost for like 2 to 3 months pass by, and he is being submitting his projects, and he is being putting in his hours, and that happens. After 2 to 3 months, the project gets done, the work gets completed, and then like the connection breaks between the company and this guy. And when he last had a word with the company, they said that, okay, we would like clear your bills, we would clear your payment very soon. 3 months passed back, and the company did not send back a formal message. The company did not approach him, talking about the payments, talking about the money and all. And this guy was in a very good faith that the company is great, the company is kind of big, so they won't obviously do any kind of malpractices when it comes to payment. They would obviously release the payment as soon as they can. And he was waiting, but after 3 months, he kind of felt that this is too much. This is like, no company should make their employees wait for more than 3 months for the release of payment. So this guy approaches them saying that, dude, what about the payment? I was supposed to get X number of rupees for the work that I've done. And the company says that, okay, send us a formal report as to how many hours have you put in and where have you put in all these hours. And now this guy is completely confused, because prior to when he had started working from them, the complete atmosphere was different. When he had not yet started to work with the company, they were in a very friendly mood. They were like, okay, you are like a friend of ours, you are like a brother of ours, and we treat our employees as a family members, you are our family member. And there was no such formal conversation between them that, you will have to file a report, you will have to provide us the proper timing hours, etc, etc. It was all verbal, it was all chilled out and all. And now this guy is in a shock that, what happens all of a sudden. 3 months back, this same company was so good to me, it was so friendly to me, and now all of a sudden they are telling me that if you want the money, just submit the official reports and all. So he's like, okay, let's do that as well. So he sits down to make a report, he sits down to put things into order, and then he sends them the file that, okay, over here I have compiled the entire thing, and I've written how many hours I've given towards working for you, and just have a look at it. So now this guy and the company are into another conversation wherein the company is telling them that, hey, how have you included the travel hours? How have you included the to and fro commuting time? How have you included this time, that time? So the company wants him to just calculate the precise work which he has put in for the company, not to calculate anything like above and beyond that. And this guy was in an impression that, okay, I would be paid for the entire thing, because if I am putting it 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for that company, that means it is a 12-hour work from them, wherein the company is like, no, it was 2 hours commute to and fro, so remove that 2 hours, so we will calculate only 10 hours. So now this guy is seeking payment for 12 hours, the company is ready to give payment for only 10 hours, and there is a complete tussle going on between them. And he's like, okay, why are they doing that? Obviously, when the wage rate is so low, so 2 hour amounts to like 50 rupees per hour, so 2 hour amounts to 100 rupees, and this guy is like, just for a sum of 100 rupees, this company is like beating me up and telling me that, no, we cannot pay you just for a small amount of 100 rupees. And he felt so cheated, like, why is this happening? Already they have made me wait for 3 months, plus they are not releasing my payment on time, plus they are not agreeing to the amount that I'm quoting to them. So like, what's happening? And that made me was the initial source of motivation for me to record this episode, that a lot of young kids these days, a lot of students in colleges, they enter into these internships, these project related work with many agencies, many marketing agencies in general, and they feel that this is going to add to their resume, this is going to help them in their professional work and all, professional career and all. But the fact of the matter is that there are very less chances that what you're working for is actually going to help you in some way or the other. There are very high chances that what you're doing goes in vain, and it won't help you in any way, and all you did was you became a free laborer, you became an unpaid laborer for that company for 2 to 3 months of your life. Now over here, let us like completely discuss about how internships work, and when should you actually work with a company. Now when I talk about internships, there are a lot of companies that upfront do not even pay any sum of money. Like, they very upfront say that, hey, we are hiring interns, but don't expect any monetary returns in against of this work, and it is completely unpaid work. If you want to work with us, just apply and we will take an interview. If you get selected, you get a chance to work with us. If not, tata bye bye, but don't expect any sort of monetary gains from our side. And yes, there are companies that do that, and against that there are also some companies that pay some amount to the interns that they hire. And I'm not saying over here that only work for the companies that pay you money, don't work for the companies that you take free labor from your side. I'll give you case by case example of when you should actually work with a company and when you should deny that company, because that is not going to add any value to your resume. So first, let's talk about the companies who ask you to work for free. Now, the percentage of these companies are maximum. Like, if out of 100% of the internships that are available in the market, I can easily say that 70% of them are unpaid. The companies do not pay their interns any amount of money upfront. So still, I won't say that you should upfront reject these companies. You should not even listen to what they are up to offer. There are many cases in which actually working for free for a company can add a lot of value to your resume. But it is very important to understand which are these cases. It's not that every company that comes to you saying that, hey, you know what, we are searching for interns, please come and work for us. You have to just go there, apply for the job and take up the internship. You don't have to do that. There are very specific cases only and only wherein you should work for free for an organization. Now, the first case wherein you need to actually work for free for an organization is that when the company is the Google of your industry. Now, what I mean by that is that in whichever field you are in whichever field of study you are in, and let's say you are in chartered accountancy, and suddenly KPMG or Ernst & Young comes to you saying that, hey, will you work for free for us? Definitely you need to say yes in the very first statement. You do not have to argue, you do not have to think. It's a no-brainer question. Why? Because KPMG and Ernst & Young hold the top position among chartered accountancy firms. Similarly, if you are into engineering or any sort of tech-based background, and a company like Microsoft, a company like Infosys or Google approaches you saying that we are looking out for unpaid interns, would you like to work for us? At that time also also you don't have to think a bit. You just have to like apply and try your level best to get through that internship. Even if they ask you to work for 12 hours 15 hours a day without paying you a single rupee, you need to do that. Why? Because those companies are literally the apex of your industry. If the names of these companies get associated to your resume, it would be a cakewalk for you in your further professional journey. So when such companies open up unpaid internships, when such companies actually announce that they are ready to take interns, you need to apply to these companies, and even if you get no monetary remuneration, you need to work with them. And in that case, working for free is actually fruitful. Now comes the second scenario when you should actually work for free in an internship, and that is when the company has got a very big distribution network. Now this generally applies in all those people who are aspiring to work in any of the creative professions. That could include content writing, that could include graphic designing, that could include photo editing, Photoshop, etc. So if you are anyone who is into the creative profession and a company approaches you that has a heavily massive distribution network and is willing to give you credits for your work, then it is a no-brainer. Once again, you need to work for free for that organization, and even if they give you mad amounts of work and pay you nothing, still it would be very good for your upcoming career. Now let's talk about this with the help of an example. Let's say you want to go ahead in the field of content writing, and suddenly New York Times announces that we are ready to take unpaid interns who would be writing articles for our platform, and if we like those articles, we would be even publishing them on our official platform. So this is a company like New York Times. It literally has the distribution any content writer would aspire to go in. At that case, you need to obviously crack that deal, and you need to crack that internship and become a part of their team. Why? Because New York Times itself has a very huge distribution, like millions of people every single day read their articles. So if your article gets published in the New York Times with your name written in the credits, then obviously it is a very big deal for you, because now moving forward, when you look for a job, a full-time job, you will be able to write in your resume that I have worked for New York Times, wherein my article was read by X million number of people, and that is a very big deal for a creative professional. Now this could also apply into graphic designing. This could also apply into photo editing. Let's say there is a very big Instagram influencer holding about 2-3 million followers, and they want to hire a photo editor to improve the quality of their pictures, the quality of the content that they post on their Instagram, and you apply for an unpaid internship for them, but in return they tell you that below every picture we would be giving you credits for the editing of the picture. It is obviously once again a no-brainer, because once again that is a very big client, and even if you're working a lot for them without getting any monetary remuneration, that is a very good deal. Now why I'm saying that it is a good deal? Understand that for any big organization, the competitors are always looking at its products. So for example, as a content writer, you are writing for New York Times, and the quality of articles that you're publishing is immensely great. Once your article gets published in New York Times with your credits given below that, okay, so and so person is the man who has actually written this article, then the competing companies, let's say for example there are 1,000 different companies other than New York Times who are also big in content writing, who are also big into the publishing space. They every single day go through New York Times, and when they see a very beautifully scripted article, they would definitely look at the person who has written that article, and if your luck seems to be good, they would even approach you upfront that, hey, you're working with New York Times, tell us what are they paying you, we would increase the payment and you can start working with us. And that happens a lot in the creative profession. Like if you are working for a big name and you get credits under his work, many people from the industry would approach you saying that, okay, you work with him, tell us how much he is paying you, we would increase the remuneration and start working with us. And that is solely on the basis of they liking the quality of work that you have put out. So in creative professionals, definitely you should go for any big company that has a massively big distribution network. Now in this I would like to give a very big disclaimer, and that is never work for free for ghostwriting. Now what is the meaning of ghostwriting or ghost work production? Understand that New York Times as an organization is a very big organization, and I'm pretty much sure that they have got full-time writers, like big writers under their name, who work 8 hours a day for New York Times as a full-time employee, and these writers are very big in their own name. Now what happens is many times organizations open up internships for ghost writers, and in the job title it would be written writers, but if you read inside the details, it would be written that this is a ghost profession. A ghost profession generally means that your work would be labeled with someone else's name. So like you do the complete research, you do the complete hard work for writing a very good article, and that article you send it over to New York Times. New York Times twerks it a little bit, like changes a couple of words, and then below it writes the name of its full-time writer. So your name won't show up anywhere. And if that is the case, then I would never suggest to work for free for a firm that is offering ghost writing or ghost service like offers. If there is a company that is saying that, hey, we won't be able to give you any credit and this is completely like ghost service based, ask them for good amount of money in return. Like that would be a foolish combination, that you are working without any credits and you are still not taking any money in return. That is the most foolish combination ever. So yeah, if they are actually giving you the credits and if it is not a ghost writing service, then definitely go in work for free for them. The third case scenario wherein I would suggest that you should actually take up an unpaid internship is when the company comes with a clause that, okay, we are not going to pay you anything upfront for the next 2 months of our internship, but if we like your work, then we would be ready to take you into a full-time employment contract. And that is a good thing, because in a way you are getting to advertise your work to the company for free, like for without any charge. So if this is a good company, then actually getting an employment in that company would be very hard, because a lot of people would be applying for a job in that company. But if you work as a free intern, if you work as an unpaid intern in that company, and the company actually promises you that, okay, if we like your work, we will actually take you on board as a full-time employee, then it makes a lot of sense to work from them, because then it's a good combination, because after 2 months, any which ways you will be getting a full-time job with them. But over here, once again, I would suggest you to take in writing, like in your internship application, ask them to give you in writing that after 2 months, they would genuinely consider you taking up as a full-time employee. It should not just be a verbal communication between you and your employer, that he just verbally said you, हाँ तेरा काम अच्छा लगेगा तो तेरे को ले लेंगे. That should not be the case. You should have a thing in written that, okay, you know, after X number of months, if you get impressed by the work that I'm doing, you need to hire me full-time. The fourth and the last scenario, which I do not actually recommend a lot, but if you have got no choice, then this is the thing which you should go for, is that if you're a student and you have got a lot of free time in your hands, and you know that your college has got no attendance bar, and you do not have to spend a lot of time studying at home, and you know that there are like 5-6 hours a day which you just waste any which ways, and then if a company approaches you for an unpaid internship for, let's say, 2 to 3 hours, 3 hours is the max. If they just demand 3 hours of work every single day without paying you any money, then I think you should go for it, because like it is a topic of opportunity cost. Like any which ways, if you're wasting your time working, like just sitting at home and doing nothing, then 2 to 3 hours of unpaid internship makes sense, because it, like, something is better than nothing logic comes over here. But over here also I would say that do not work for very long for free. Like even if it is a 2-3 hour per day work, just try and work for 2 to 3 months, and within the span of these 2 to 3 months, try applying to further internships. Like try approaching different companies in the same genre and try asking them that, hey, I'm already working with this company, would you like me to work with you? So apply to many different companies within the span of 2 to 3 months. But yeah, if the company is taking very less amount of your everyday time, then I think working for free makes sense. Now let's talk about the typical case scenario in which a lot of companies would approach you saying for internships, and if this is the case, then it is a clear-cut no. You should never work for such companies, and these companies are a maximum part of the lot. Like you will find these companies on every single job search website. Now what these companies essentially say you is that we are looking for unpaid interns. If you work with us, we are going to give you a certificate of work, or we are going to give you a merchandise, a t-shirt, a mug, or a sunglasses, a watch, etc. Or we would give you an official iCard that you have worked with us. If any company comes to you saying all these things, the first response to them is no. Just block them on whichever platform they have approached you and never respond back to them. The only single reason being that these companies target a lot of students who have not got knowledge. Like, you know, As a student, you might feel that okay, just giving in a small amount of my time working from them, I would get a free t-shirt, I would get an official certificate of work, I would get an official iCard. The truth is that that certificate, that iCard has got that's got nothing to do with your resume, with your career. Like, you might feel as a student that okay, this iCard is an official iCard by an official company, but once you enter into the actual job market, no one considers these certificates, no one considers these iCards. And now talking about the merchandise, the t-shirt, the free mugs and all the freebies that they give you, understand one thing: if they actually go on to hire a full-time employee working for 2 to 3 hours every single month, they will have to pay 5 to 7,000, and a t-shirt or a mug or a sunglasses cost 200 to 300 rupees. Now you consider the fact that they are hiring you for 300-400 rupees, wherein the actual money that you deserve is 5,000-6,000 rupees. So now you do the math whether you want to work with them or not. But my recommendation would be that if any company approaches you saying that we have all these freebies that we would distribute to you, or we have these certificates, never fall for them, because that has got literally no relevance with you doing something in your career life.